Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics and an early morning video today because I have a retraction to make. You guys caught me. It's true. I made the video last night saying silver trades above $20 for the first time since 2016. And obviously, if I had removed a little more space dust from that price, let's get our window there. There we go. Thank you. I could have slept a couple of hours, just saved some time, and said it's above $21 for the first time since. Actually, we'll have to look that one up. But my attempt at being clever in saying, look at this. Silver busting through this morning, late last night. So let's see, we had our price. What was it? Well, I guess around the time I made the video. Again, you're going to see this divergence. Good to get used to it. BelieveInvesting.com bases it off of the futures contract, which is higher than the Kitco spot price. What is the official price? Well, I mean, unless you're taking delivery on the COMEX, so if you're going to buy it from a retail shop, then I guess that's the official price. These are probably all indications. I don't know, to the degree a lot of people look at the Kitco price. I still like looking at it. I've heard counter arguments, and I wouldn't necessarily dispute them. But anything that people are looking at and acting on, to me, carries some weight because that's, pushing money around. So anyway, it was interesting. You saw last night, the price was right under $20 when I made the video, shoots through the $20 mark. Again, talked and played that clip before of Bart Chilton where I asked him, my understanding of how it works is that when you get to these, they call the handle, the big round numbers, a lot of stops, trading activity placed there. So often you will see, and sure enough, look at right at 2050. And this is what I mention often, where it's just for, let's call that an hour, just doesn't move and then explodes. And now above 21 even on the Kitco chart. Excuse me. As I talked about in last night's video, again, I have mixed views on technical analysis, not saying it can't be done yet, just to the degree that for the last decade, we've all heard people talk about watch out for 21. And I guess now it's exciting. We'll find out because you see we're higher than 2016. And let's pull up some pricing here. I see, so here's our 2016 chart. Looks like 2071 close August 2nd. So I don't see $21 there anywhere. And let's take a look back. I would guess it was, I'll say 2013 was the last time we had, well, we know we had it in 2011, so we'll start there. I'm going to guess 2013 the last time. Silver was above $21. We'll pull up the chart, take a quick look. There in 2011, obviously the $50. And here, no, I do not need to buy Direxion funds today. Are those those levered ones? Maybe I do. I'm just realizing it now. Here you go in 2013. That's when it goes under $20. 2014. Okay, still over 20. Then not a fun year there. Wow. I remember that was actually quite a volatile time in my own life as well. So run out of money after my savings from leaving Wall Street. So silver at the same time. At least I didn't have any silver left for it to go down in value back then. But some fun adventures. Anyway, you see 2015. So we'll say first time above $21 since 2014. And again, I'm keeping an eye on this. I know it's still early, but I wonder if this is connected to, we just saw that massive run on gold and silver in the COMEX deliveries the last 2 months. And just for hoots and giggles, I didn't really try to resist. But I figured, maybe it'd be fun to toss in what happened in the Silver Trust yesterday. We're just on one day alone, 7.768 million ounces added into the Silver Trust. Again, do I say the banks are completely cooked? They can't get out of this. There's no smash down. I would not be that audacious. I mean, if the thing can go up $1 in a day, certainly it can go down $1. And it's like I've been thinking about it. I wish I knew the answer. I think Andrew Maguire might be able to tell on some of these in advance. Outside of that, I've never found anyone who really knows when the manipulation is coming. And at least from a trading standpoint, something I've been thinking about where, again, what's nice is you can cherry pick things. So I don't know, maybe I think I'm 55% favorite to be right against 45% to be incorrect, whether it's going to get smashed down $1 or not. I mean, maybe I'm right. I mean, it's still close to a coin flip versus, to me, I feel a lot more confident that at some point, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or today. I can guess, whereas what I think my real strength is my longer term outlook for all of the reasons laid out on the show and in the book. So just something to think about, or not that you have to think about, something I think about of just where do I want to put the majority of my capital. And to me, I want to do it on, especially if there is a bet that seems such a high probability. Will I still be trading options? Will I probably be going against my rule I made of, ideally this would be the time to sell after a big run, although that's counting on, is the smash coming? And it's possible we've reached the point where it's not. It may be that we've seen the end of that. Whether you call it a smash, again, I don't think this is going to go in a straight line. So I think based on what I'm seeing, that we are in a broader rally now. And I mean, to me, just having some of these mining shares or your physical silver and just each month, whether it's $20 or $18, or at some point it's $25 or $30. Again, hey, I had a good time on the way up in 2011. I did not sell at the top, so I'm not by any means claiming. But I mean, there's some point to me at which this doesn't come back, and the Fed is seemingly doing its best to guarantee that. So anyway, that is an article we mentioned yesterday that I'm going to dig into a little bit. Here's a quick look. Again, these are yesterday's prices. These are Monday's prices, depending on when you're watching this. It's actually, I'm up early these days, and market has not yet opened. But if you saw some of these up, I wish I had bought my Alexco calls last week. Geez, if it was up 55 cents yesterday, and we have, if the chart looks anything like this when we open today, so we got still up $1.11 pre-open. We'll be stunning to see, probably by the time you're watching this, you will see some big numbers and know exactly what it's looking like. So exciting times. Quick look over at gold, a big move as well there. Not as much in last night, but just shoots up $20. Now gold within $80 of its all-time high at 1920. And that was always the risk, not risk, but I guess the opportunity where, to me, suppressing these things works while there's no attention on it. But it's like, at least, and I think it's not just myself, but a lot of other people that get into gold and silver, when you really stop and take a second, look at the government, look at the Fed, I mean, it's not rocket science. And I think they've just exposed it and made it so obvious at this point, where I find the most common counter argument in the metals is like, all right, it's manipulated, it's going to go on forever, which Again, to be clear, you know, we don't know how long it'll go on for. Certainly, these are some pretty darn encouraging signs. Andrew McGuire talked about JP Morgan reducing their position to get back within the limits in connection with the Department of Justice. So certainly a lot of good signs. And yeah, seeing gold up 20 bucks, one of them. But then the more attention comes on here, because at least my belief has been, if you didn't have COMEX futures or any of these other shenanigans, I mean, gold would probably be like 10 or 20 or 30,000. I mean, if you just, and that's not trying to, you know, go off the reservation here, but I'm just saying in terms of when you look at how much money has been printed, I don't think people really grasp. In fact, let us pull up the St. Louis Fed monetary base chart, which will put it in perspective quite well. So I think people have heard, well, Fed prints money, governments, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But what I don't think often, and which was certainly, at least for me, helpful with my options background training, is really the extent, because here you have, prior to Lehman Brothers failing, 875 monetary base as reported by the St. Louis Fed. So in other words, from the Fed's inception in 1913 until 95 years later, it was slightly less than 1 trillion. Then Lehman Brothers, you get your first QE, we're basically up to 2 trillion. Then here you have late 2010, you're getting close to 2 trillion. And that's when Bernanke says he's going to do QE2. That was when I bought my silver block. Started piling on some GLD and SLV options. And I believe it was right around $20, interestingly enough. Which, again, to what I said earlier about how, whether because that happened then means it's going to happen now, yet to the degree that I think there's going to be a lot of people looking and say, hey, well, the last time it broke through 21 or 20 was right before it went up to 50, which is not to say that that is going to happen again, but certainly will be fun to watch. And what's interesting here in 2011, here's when gold and silver are hitting their all-time highs. And we heard a lot about tapering, but the mystery is that you didn't have tapering. They blew it out even further from 2 trillion. Then it was up over 4 trillion. That's when I remember, this was about 2 years ago, and that congressman says to Jerome Powell, so you've said with regards to normalizing, we're going to go back to 2.5 to 3 trillion over the next 3 to 4 years. Now, this was about 2 years ago. And if I may say so, there's an article I wrote about it on Miles Franklin. I was like, that is absolute BS. Of course, when they say over the next 3 to 4 years means it's never happening. And when did 2.5 to 3 trillion? I thought Bernanke told us this was temporary back here. Somehow this became the new normal, which means that in that one sentence, Powell essentially launched a $2 trillion stealth QE package by saying this is never coming out. And of course, when he said that, we knew this was never coming out. Let's see. So this does not appear to be updated to today. Maybe they just stopped. Oh, look at that. I love that. It's like M3. The numbers get so big, they stop reporting it. You can check the Fed balance sheet. You'll see the same thing. So anyway, maybe some connection between what we are seeing here. Anyway, especially for the people who've been watching this channel for a while, we've gone through some ups and downs in the price together, but hopefully this is making your breakfast taste a little better. A special shout out to my dear friend, Joe Grandy, been a really amazing supporter of the show. I don't know if the book would have been out. Well, look, the price jumping back up to 120. So I know Joe is out there having a great morning. So a special thank you to Joe. He really helped us a lot in making the big silver short possible, which really explains what's happening now, although maybe that's not as relevant as what is going to happen. So if you have not gotten your copy yet, there it is on Amazon. You can also go to arcadiaeconomics.com to get the audio version. Although one last story, this one came out last night, and after I tweeted it, I was like, maybe I would have phrased the title a little differently, although I guess the market kind of supported that. I mean, I think that's safe to call what we're seeing today some sort of short squeeze, whether that is how big of a short squeeze that ends up being. But here, Sprott Silver Trust to purchase 1.5 billion ounces of physical silver. This is coming from James Turk. Just stated they are going to raise 1.5 billion to purchase physical silver, which I'll bet they'll well pull off, especially in this environment, because you just watch throughout the day today. Let's see if CNBC is got silver on the front. That's how we'll know if it's really on. Okay, I'll do a search for silver. Okay, does not look like silver is on the front of CNBC just yet. So maybe maybe the apocalypse is not here yet, although anyway, it will be a lot of fun to follow. Again, if you wanted to hear any more thoughts on silver crossing $20, which was only a couple of hours ago, video coming your way now. Hit the subscription button, hit the darn notification bell. Exciting things happening, and it would be an honor to keep you posted and at least give you the best information I can. Hopefully you're out there making a fortune. I'm not allowed to make financial promises or guarantees on this channel by the same folks who set the laws are the ones who rig the markets, ironically enough. But anyway, I think hopefully you're having a great day. And if you want to hear last night's thoughts, here it comes.